to see if I can hear us when we go live.
Where?
He's listening to Hardcore Gangster Rap.
If I am, it's John Bellion.
That's not Hardcore Gangster Rap.
It's beautiful music, though.
Is it Kendrick?
That's Hardcore Gangster Rap. Kind of.
Ooh, here we go.
You all need loyalty in your DNA.
We're live. We're live, everybody.
I see no viewers.
Say hello.
Live.
There's viewers. I guarantee you there's viewers.
There's one viewer.
One. It's just you. It's you.
We're watching our own stream.
No, we got Ellen,
He's got
Happy,
chat. He's got people in the
Stream's the
chat.
worst.
In the chatsy chats.
Alyssa,
No, it's just Josh on 7 devices.
Dragonakas,
Dragonakas. Oh, that guy. Or girl. I'm not assuming.
You just did.
Martin Thompson.
Martine.
My boy Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost 2. It's because I assumed.
You just that number's not right. That number's not right at all.
4. No, we lost. That's where. It is just Josh now. 3. Sorry, guys.
I don't know what we're doing.
No.
We don't look good enough. That's why.
That's it.
True story.
Okay, so hit me up with them questions, guys.
Oh,
But we're here to
boy.
hang. I got a couple questions ahead of time.
Okay, we're doing that again.
Well, dude, we don't have to.
No, it's fine. I'm glad you came
Are we
prepared.
gonna play What Do You Mean?
Yeah, let's play a board game. You guys
Take
watch
this out
us
of my
play.
guitar.
You guys watch us play Risk.
Oh, yikes.
Sure,
You have to
jeez.
mute your computer, Josh.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
computer.
amateur.
Jeez.
I bet his computer is muted.
My computer is muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
My computer's
Josh.
muted.
That's my computer over there in Magic
Hey,
World.
first stream with all of us here.
Probably the last.
I was gonna be sick today, but no.
I thought better
Decided
of it.
against it in the last
You
minute.
thought better.
I felt better.
Let's play Survivor and vote people off the island.
Josh. Oh wait, is that not how this game works?
Wow. Wow.
It's
All right. I guess I gotta.
Parent.
I have to blow out my candle.
No, don't blow it out. It smells
Ah!
nice.
You put the thing over.
Burn his stuff, not mine.
Is that yours?
What you gotta ask whose that is? It's Kelsey's.
Mine.
She's been practicing a song.
I'm not gonna play.
You're not gonna play it?
No.
What's the song that you were practicing?
What
Can't
do you
help
mean?
falling in love by Elvis Presley.
Falling in love.
Can't help.
That's not it. Oh, there's. That's a little better.
What are you playing?
It's out of tune. I think that's a
It is
G.
out of tune because it's up here, and the
I thought it was a G.
the temperature changes so rapidly.
So, guys, how's life going?
Traffic sucks. I was late-ish.
I just said technical difficulties. You didn't have to like cop up to.
No, it was.
Should have ditched the car and just ran the race.
I probably would have got there faster.
All right.
Danny told me there was a street race, and then
Yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
I
With
did not
cars?
picture was people.
Yeah,
that's what he
He assumed
thought
he assumed Tokyo Drift because
Yeah,
you told him.
Pink slip. Driving for pink slips.
No, it's like
No, you don't drive for Pink Slip. You drive for Finn.
it's like a 5K, a 10K, and a 15K.
Yeah. What's really okay? So here's what's really funny. I was driving past the Capitol.
Yeah.
And there's like little kids running around because I think that's like the short end of it. And there are all these people outside the Capitol with signs. And I was like, oh, it's like families out there like supporting the kids. Then I realized they were protesters.
Oh.
And it was like, America, you need to get involved in Kurdistan. I was like, I didn't even know Kurdistan was a place.
Now you do.
And I thought, I'm sure these kids were on the corner. They think, oh, we've got all these fans. And no, they're angry people upset at America.
That's it.
It's like, that's the most, like, that is the most, the biggest analogy of America in general. Little kids happy, all excited to be participating, and then angry people shouting while they're running past.
You're not running.
I am not a runner, if you can't tell.
What?
All right.
I've never done a marathon or anything like that.
I have a half marathon in a week.
All right.
Are you doing the half-C?
I am.
Nice.
It's not gonna go very well, but that's okay.
That'd be great.
Well, don't speak that over yourself. It's gonna go great.
So if you guys want to skip church to cheer me on,
I will be.
I have to be there. Not. I don't have to be at your race. I have to be at church.
By the way, Dan, they're glad that you have a position on the couch this week.
Ah, couch position. All right.
We're trying to get the best like feng shui in here.
We're still trying to figure out how to
that
utilize the
another
space
Asian
as best
joke?
we can.
Is feng shui Asian?
yeah.
Wait, no. It's not Asian. It's like either Chinese or like Japanese, right?
Yeah, but
be Asian, Josh?
Well, like
Because you guys told me. You guys
you're
told me this
eliminating
last week.
You're
that-
eliminating like 2 billion people by saying it has to be Chinese or Japanese.
No,
I'm gonna Google it.
I'm just saying like the
Feng shui is probably like
yeah, but
Singaporean, and we're all racist.
but Asian. That's
But Asian what, Josh?
That's Russian. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
right.
yeah, I
let
told you
Josh
that.
explain
I know. I
it.
know.
Yeah.
As Josh.
Please mansplain Asia
Yeah.
to me.
As a white male, please.
As a
explain
white
that
male,
to us.
let me tell you
It's
about
not
Chinese,
Asian.
guys.
Boom.
It's Chinese.
Boom. Not racist.
Okay. Boom.
This
Never
one time.
racist.
This one time, never racist. No.
Also, this is cool.
Yes, that's from Mary Beth. She put a picture up on Twitter. I saw it and literally said, "I must have one. Please make one for me." And she DM'd
And she
me.
did.
And then
I'm. There's four others of us.
Yeah, I would like one also. Not that
She's
one.
the
No,
best.
I don't want this.
Don't you
I
dare.
know. I no
Don't you
longer.
dare.
I no
Whatever
longer
this
have the
is,
most
unless-
righteous beard.
Unless it's a voodoo doll.
Oh,
And then
jeez.
we'll each
Don't
take
mistreat
one.
this doll. I love this doll.
I know.
You see, it's even got like rosy cheeks.
Yeah, I saw that.
Appa wanted to eat it.
Appa did want to eat it.
I
her
saw
dog.
on Twitter earlier today. It was like, I made a voodoo doll of my dog so I can rub its belly even when I'm not around it.
Oh,
It's like that's
true love.
these are goals.
Okay, so I got
We
a
have
couple
questions yet?
Yep.
Okay.
Trenton. I might save his questions.
No, we met Trenton.
We did. We met him in person, and he's here. Okay, I wanted to make sure he was like in the chat before I started
Cool.
asking his questions.
He's downstairs.
He sent me these ahead of time, which you don't have to do, but you can, I suppose. Now.
That's cheating, Trenton.
So.
I think it's
You
called
skipped the
being
line.
proactive.
Yeah,
Uh,
you did. You skipped the line.
Being proactive.
Firstly, what unique twists or personal life influences does everybody like to add when creating a new character?
Oh, okay. What unique twists or life
Mhm.
influences?
Think about it.
Okay.
That's a good thing to add to your character.
Thinking.
I'll do
Twists
that for next time.
or personality.
Mm.
Uh,
Wait,
These things are.
playing myself.
Okay.
Are you just all of your characters are just perfect?
Yeah.
They're all
there's
perfectly
nothing
realized.
wrong with them.
yeah, I think in PCs that I've played, I think for me, I like, and I know Josh and I have talked about this a little bit too. I like coming up with something that would make it more difficult for him, and then playing around that. Like I had this idea for a character that I never got to play, to where he was a pacifist, like refused to fight anyone. But he was also quite wealthy, so he just had like people he would pay to fight for him.
Interesting.
But the mechanics of that were really difficult, and that's just like me being a butthole to my DM, whoever that would have ended up being, probably Josh.
Interesting.
And so I think I ultimately scrapped the idea, but I like the idea of like giving myself some type of disadvantage. Like the halfling I played in Josh's game.
Yes.
He would never attack creatures smaller than himself.
Yeah, which almost happened never. So
It was very rare.
it's not really much of a disadvantage.
But I mean, like Josh as a DM could have like thrown a bunch of kobolds or a bunch of stuff at us that I just would have been like, sorry guys,
That's
you're on
true.
your own.
Or made you a giant.
Or made me a giant.
Oh yeah,
That would've been fun.
Mhm. Then everything you couldn't have thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Either that or like the idea of being tall would have gone to my head, and then when I went back to my normal size, I would have been self-loathing halfling.
But that is a little bit of a callback to what you did to Mike in our first game that we ever played.
It's true.
He played a gnome. Do you remember when he started making you go taller?
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I wanted to be very small.
Yeah. So what was that? It was something with the amulet, right?
Yeah, it was.
Or like-
the first incarnation of the amulet was in our personal game that
Yeah.
we played.
And it was you rolled a d20 or something to try and grow yourself taller, and I let you roll it like once a month, and you rolled poorly twice in a row, and so you got taller instead of smaller or something like that.
Yeah.
So you ended up being like the size of a dwarf by the end of it as a gnome.
Which is the worst.
Anyone else?
Gosh.
Care to talk about the types of character flaws or twists that you add?
I like to make characters that are either going to be hated by the group,
No.
so have a really hard
What?
time.
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
in,
really
What?
Nailed
team
it.
player.
Nailed it.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Or
super
have them be running away from something.
weird.
On the
Akio
run?
and the Colonel.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, but Akio would run away from stuff just because he always thought something was after him. Like the time when we were in High Rock and the guards were looking for us, and he just assumed they were out to kill us.
Yeah. And they just literally were like, "No, you've been requested." Yeah, I remember that.
I have a system for questions now, so this is great. I'm not going to lose any of them. Martin Thomas asks, so in the movie poster of the show, what poses would each of you do?
Oh, dab.
Okay. Are we all dabbing?
I mean, if we were, I think I would have to be doing the
Yeah.
The touchdown.
touchdown.
can't.
We all
Josh
dab, and
can't.
in the middle, it makes the logo with our arms.
Yeah.
So like
All
it's
of our
like,
dabs
it's like
are
a Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I like that.
Yes.
No,
No
but
way.
underneath that would be me as Martin Trumbo in the bathtub with a typewriter
Mm.
writing.
Mm.
Yeah.
That would be me.
I'd want to have my hammer on either just hanging on my shoulders, looking BA.
Naked.
Ooh.
With the beard.
With
The beard covering
the
everything.
beard
Yeah,
covering-
yeah.
See?
Okay.
See?
Yep.
At first he was like, no.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh,
With the
what-
beard? The beard's long
What is
enough?
this rated, though? What's the movie rated? Is it R?
I think it would have to be just for
Yeah, I
violence.
think so too.
It's
Yeah.
incentive to get in shape,
You
Josh.
do crush somebody's
Since
I
you're
head.
did, yeah.
Naked
Josh
and
punched a
moving
dude's face in, like through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's been plenty, like, there was a time, remember when you guys, this was really early, remember when you guys found those prisoners and you did the wrong thing?
Yeah.
And, like, they got spikes impaled through them?
It's like Game of Thrones right there.
Yeah, like, there's some pretty, like, torturous stuff I put in.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at
It's a product of my own psyche.
in literature, it gets really crazy like that too, though.
Yeah,
Like
but
in-
books don't have ratings.
It's true.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I like
Yeah.
like, but I'm like there are books that are made for like kids that have pretty intense stuff that happens.
It's
Hunger
true.
Games.
Redwall.
It's true. Red what?
Redwall.
Redwall.
Mice.
Oh.
Medieval mice.
Freaking mice books.
This one's for Mike.
For Mike?
Yeah, question for Mike from Dragon Kakas. I don't know how to say that name better.
It's probably not Dragon Caca.
That's not what I said. You mentioned
Chicago.
you mentioned you don't usually do RPing.
On it, yeah.
How do you feel playing as Milo, who's really outgoing?
Yeah, I think Sherwood is very much like me, and I wanted to play a character where I actually have to RP, and that means being happy. And
Sad.
The
Not-
truest challenge.
no, it is. No, but I think it's good.
You found your whale.
Yeah.
The Moby Dick of your life.
It's like, I just gotta be happy when I come here. No, I don't know. I think it's tough though, because I think you naturally want to. I'm very sarcastic, and Milo is not that. But I think it just leans into that character in kind of good ways too. So I do kind of find myself like wanting to say very snappy things or sarcastic things, but I just make sure that's coming from me and not Milo, because he is very loving and
You said,
Yeah.
you told me, we were at dinner one night, and you told me you modeled it at, like his personality after someone.
yeah, my son.
Yeah.
So
So I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely my son, and he is 14, but I do play him very young, and I think he didn't have a very good upbringing either, so it wasn't like a normal upbringing, so he is kind of stunted in that way. So
And my favorite was recently, in one of our recently post episodes, Greg asked you to do something.
Yeah.
And you were very
yeah.
torn
I was very
because
torn because I told you I
Mike
wanted you to,
would have never done it, or
No.
like would have totally let the rope fall. And
Yeah.
but Milo,
Yeah.
he's a good boy.
all right.
Good boy.
He cares about Gray.
The hardest thing to role play.
I just like grasp the table. I'm like, no.
All right. This one's from Aaron Elbus. I have a question for Josh. That's me.
Is it? Is it?
The literary character you mentioned in reference to Varn, is that Pickle Boulder Shoulder? Yes. It is Pickle Boulder
Over the
Shoulder.
Boulder Holder?
Nope. Boulder
Nice.
Boulder Shoulder. He's one of the Boulder Shoulder brothers. They're two dwarfs
The Bra
in
Brothers. The Bra Bros.
in R.A. Salvatore's literary universe.
He knew what he was doing.
So he absolutely knew what he was doing.
Calling him the Boulder
I think
Shoulders.
Ivan Boulder Shoulder is the other one.
You knew it.
So, and he's like got like a massive helmet with like deer antlers on it. And he's like the dwarf's dwarf. And then you got him right next to Pickle, who is like kind of out of his mind. Like he's totally like disconnected from reality. He dyed his beard and his hair green. And he's a druid. He's like the only like druid dwarf. And he calls his shillelagh shalalala. So whenever he does it, he yells out shalalala, and then starts like just beating people up. But he keeps the frustrating thing, the thing that makes Ivan so frustrated, is that Pickle keeps turning animals sentient. Like he keeps giving them like intellect, and Ivan can't kill them once they're intelligent because he doesn't want to. He can't kill the deer for food because now it knows it's a deer and it's like aware of itself and can interact like regularly without talking. But so he gets really frustrated because they got all these animals that he can't cut up. Anyway,
Seems very much like How to Train Your Dragon. Like his dad is like the big time Viking.
Yes,
and
yeah.
he even has a lame name like Hiccup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Pickle's awesome, man. He's one of those characters that you cry for when like sad things
I
happen.
cry in How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
I have a question. Can I ask my question?
Yeah.
Ooh,
To everyone.
to everyone.
When
It's
you're
to the audience. You have to all answer
Hot
individually.
seat question?
Yeah, I'm doing a hot seat question.
Ooh, we got a bunch more questions.
When you're sent, if you're sent, not when, if you're sent to hell, what song will be playing on repeat?
No.
What song are we playing on repeat?
Yeah.
If you're sent to hell?
Yeah.
I think Friday is the answer for all of us.
No,
Oh no, come on.
that's my
For real?
jam.
What?
It's
First thing I
Friday.
listen to in the morning on Friday.
No, it's not.
It used to
It used to be.
Oh
Danny and I would
my
text each
God.
other the link to Rebecca
Oh
Black's
my
Friday.
God.
Like pretty much every Friday we would do this.
Okay, so Josh's is Friday. Dan?
I'm gonna get that
I
link
gotta think
every
of
Yep.
Friday.
something
You're
now.
I
welcome,
can't
Josh.
tolerate.
Mine would be We Built This City.
Oh my gosh. Starship? How dare you?
I hate that song.
I would say no music. That would suck.
Hmm.
Can that be a choice?
Just silence.
Yeah, just silence.
Pure and utter
Yeah.
silence.
But what's the worst song in the world?
Who Let the Dogs Out?
Oh.
What?
What? That sounds the worst.
Here's the real question.
For me-
Is that song, well, answer
You're
your
having
question.
audio connectivity problems.
That's what they're saying?
Yeah, I'm checking it out. Keep going.
I'm hacking in.
Reed, do you want to answer? Do you want me to talk about Baha Men?
For me, it would be a mixture. It would be a tie between Mambo Number 5 by Lou Bega
Oh, I love that song. It's
come
so
on.
You
bad.
treat that man with respect.
or Grenade by Bruno Mars.
Oh, yeah. No,
Oh.
that's, yeah.
Grenade by Bruno Mars might be the worst song ever written.
Oh.
And I love Bruno Mars mostly,
He does.
Don't.
but Bruno Mars, Grenade is just the worst song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so who let the dogs out? Who are the dogs?
Women,
It's super awesome.
ugly women in particular.
Yeah, or the ugly women are saying about the men who have been dogging on them.
Oh,
It can be interpreted.
it's a little
both ways.
reversed on the.
My seniors and I spent 20 minutes of a class period in multicultural.
Is the audio
talking about
fine?
this.
It's pretty off. Like I reloaded it, stayed pretty off. I don't know if we may want to can we stop it and start it again?
I can.
Like our
Like
the sound's not matching up with our.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like my nightmare.
Hi guys, can get real cozy for a second.
Not cozy enough.
we'll be
Reed.
back.
Is
We'll
it
be
not
right
going
back.
through one thing?
It's like a Godzilla movie.
Oh. SARS.
And we can keep talking, I suppose. The audio sounds fine.
Mine would be like any Christian music, I think.
Oh, how dare you.
You raise me
Oh.
up.
I,
So I
I
can
just
stand
deeply
on
despise Christian music.
Really?
Oh, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Is it just because it's so predictable?
Yep.
That is true. And unfortunately, I think it ends up just trying to copy what's ever popular.
Yeah. You remember like Family Christian store catalogs?
We
that
can-
were like,
we can
"You like
Try and
fancy?"
stop it and restart it. I mean, I think if we stop the broadcast, we'll have to create a whole new one.
Create a whole new event?
I think so.
Well, I can start making one right now real quick. We can...
I don't want it to be bad. This is exactly what we did last time, though.
Yeah, and it was fine last time. I'm not sure why it's not going. Is anybody on their phone on the internet? Anybody using that?
I am now, but I
Do I
wasn't.
need to be on airplane or something?
No.
Do I need to put mine in the toilet?
Put it in the toilet.
Put it in a
The
box?
Faraday toilet.
I mean, they could just not watch the screen and listen to our audio.
We're not that good looking.
Half the appeal is just the wacky back and forth.
Is the banter.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
bands.
the banters.
They love the banter.
And we're wasting our time trying to fix the technical problem. So
Well, I mean, we started a little late. We'll go a little late.
They're just saying it's probably just lag because it's a live stream. So
What are these?
I don't know. We didn't have the problem last time though.
yeah, we
You
didn't.
might find it inappropriate one.
Oh.
Well, we're new. This is number 2.
Oh.
You guys are getting to watch all the real technical
Cards Against Humanity.
issues.
No.
Sounds
I
like
loaded questions.
sounds like they all can deal with it. Happy's being a butt, but that's
Pretty typical.
Happy. Yeah.
It's not very happy.
Okay, so back to questions then. I got a ton of questions this time. They just
Okay,
loading them in.
Let's do it.
If any of you have stuff you want to talk about, we can. But, why are you going? Oh, this one comes from Crazy Horse 1321.
Thank you, Crazy.
Why are you going to space for season 2? It's volume 2,
Volume 2.
not season. But your
Yeah,
fantasy
yeah.
world is so good, which I've seen this kind of dialogue in some of our different like
In our
platforms as
subreddit?
well. Yeah,
Yeah.
where people are wondering why would they leave such an awesome fantasy world to go to outer space, and then they, I can hear them gagging their mouth a little bit.
Sure.
Space.
So, Reed, you probably can speak to that.
Yeah,
more than
if
anybody.
this is more targeted to me, that's fine. It's because I wanted to. And that's not to sound like, screw you guys, I'm giving you the finger. It's because I think by the time this thing wraps up, again, we're still aiming for probably middle of next year to wrap up volume 1. It means that I will have been writing or working on Sneak Attack in some capacity for about 3.5 to 4 years, which is just a really long time to be working on something without a break. Even if it's like, I was talking to someone about this the other day. It's like, I get directors that are like making great films in a franchise and then they just step back and someone else jumps in to take the franchise over. I get it now. You just need a break creatively to allow yourself to not feel. I mean, every time I write anything for Sneak Attack, I'm painting myself further into a corner. At first, the corner was enormous. I mean, pretty much as big as you wanted it to be.
do whatever you want.
But at this point, there's so much history and there's so much lore, and these guys have done so much in the game that I'm constantly writing myself into these predicaments that I'm either contradicting myself from something we recorded almost 3 years ago, or I come up with something better, but it contradicts. It's just it puts a lot of constraints on the creative process, and I'm just kind of tapped out. I feel like I've invested as much as I can into this world, and I mean, I could obviously always do more, and I think with almost absolute certainty, when we start Volume 2 like full swing, I will probably come up with a good idea of how I could have wrapped up Volume 1 better, and I'll be like, oh, that's stupid. But I think at some point you just have to cut ties and say, you know what, I want to focus my creative efforts in another direction, not because the first thing is bad or because you're tired of it, but just because you need a break. You need to be able to take a breath and approach things a little differently in order to stay fresh. Because I feel like that's where I'm at now a little bit, is like my DMing has probably gotten a little stale, at least in my mind, because I feel just like, okay, yeah, like we've done some form of this encounter before, or I'm drawing off my own inspiration from episodes prior, which again, that's like, I don't know if that's interesting for you guys, but I need the opportunity to like actually make something new again. I just feel like I haven't had that for over 3 years now. So
Yeah, it gets kind of stale.
Yeah.
Eventually, you want to do something fresh.
and space, I feel like space is more my natural element than like fantasy medieval. I admittedly, like, I give Josh crap all the time when we do like book reviews or book recommendations, because I was like, oh, Josh, no one's ever heard of that person, but everyone's heard of that person, just not me. I'm not the guy that reads Ari Salvatore. I'm not the guy. I don't even read Tolkien if it doesn't have, the name Baggins in the book anywhere. Like, it's not something I'm super interested in. But I love D&D, so
Yeah.
that's where we had to land to start. But now that I have this idea, I feel like we can make it work.
Yeah. And I'd say like trust that the storytelling I think is what I don't think people come to Sneak Attack because of our fantasy world. I think they're coming because of us, our interactions, and
I think the level of like commitment to the world creation side of things will be there in Volume 2 as well. It'll just look different, and instead of being like multiple islands on a planet, we're talking multiple planets in a galaxy. So.
Okay, this one's probably a little more for everybody. Let me see here. Where was it? Okay. Were all of you ready to die during the trials? And for Reed, how would you have dealt with having to bring in a whole new party into the story?
Was that Happy?
That was Craig, of course.
Craig.
Yes.
Craig in the UK 3-7.
Craig UK 3-7.
So
Yeah, you guys go.
yeah, you guys
Yes.
haven't talked a lot.
I was not expecting the trials to be as hard as they were, and when I realized that there was a very high likelihood for a TPK, I had no idea what we'd do. I'm always ready for my characters to die, but I'm never ready for everyone to die in one sitting.
Yeah, that was probably the closest we've come to a TPK, I would think.
Oh,
Melius was right up there too.
Yeah.
I guess that was pretty tight.
Melius, there
wasn't
was
it?
2 down, not just 1.
Yeah. And I rolled a natural 20, which is what got me up.
It's true.
Dang.
What about you? Are you ready for Milo to die after?
He hadn't really taken any damage, did he, in that fight?
No. I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, but like, if everyone else died, you would
He's
have
like-
gone down in a hurry.
He just would have accepted that he was
Yeah.
going to die.
Who knows?
he could have stayed gassed and escaped their
Yeah. See you later, you dummies.
Yeah.
For my side of that question,
He's
I don't-
trying to kill us
I don't
all.
know. No, I honestly have no idea what I would have done. Maybe you've seen Volume 2 a lot sooner. I probably would have written some like 20-page
Apology letter.
prologue or
Oh.
epilogue,
Yeah. Closing it out.
closing it out, letting everyone know how the 4 of them dying just pretty much gave Valisar the world on a silver platter, and what the consequences of their failure was,
Mhm.
and how there will be no shrines or memorials made for them.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Because we just watched, Kelsey, myself, you, and your wife. We just watched the new Blade Runner,
Incredible.
2049, right?
So good.
Incredible.
So good.
So that movie kind of ends without the whole story really coming to a close.
Mhm.
Is it possible, Reed, for Volume 1 to end without the whole story coming to a close?
Sure. I mean, I've actually tossed around the idea of of you guys running into 4 other heroes that have been told the same thing from Sylvana.
Oh,
That you guys are like her backup plan.
Oh, we're like the B team.
You're the B team. You just don't know it. I've tossed that idea around a few times, but ultimately I decide against it because I figure that'd be the most deflating thing in the world.
We kind of
I
got a
would
little bit
love
of
that.
flavor from that when we met Dirk.
Honestly, Dirk was a huge part of that. Like
Okay.
Dirk's character and Dirk's character isn't fully revealed, but there a lot of his personality and a lot of his character in general came from that concept of like, what if these guys aren't like the last hope for Brannis, which I thought was really fun.
Mhm.
I really like that.
Yeah, I mean,
think
like,
that'd be fun.
I don't think I can pull that card anymore now that it's out there, but I do think it's like that's a really fun idea. And so for the thought of being like, well, you know, these 4 may have failed, but there's more capable heroes out there that can finish the job. I think that's, or like that illusion that they can finish the job, I think is a fun idea, but I don't know that I'd ever go that route.
I don't think any of us would be surprised.
No, probably not. With as much crap as I throw at you guys. Yeah.
Happy is wondering if Milo actually needs the glasses.
No. Nope.
Just a killing device.
It makes him look more professional.
Well, it was like
It
it
is-
was like half disguise,
There's a
right?
disguise,
Yeah.
and then for him to get a job.
You have to have glasses in order to get a job.
Sure.
You do.
Mm.
You come in with a
We,
suit. and
all of
some
us but Reed
glasses.
have glasses.
They cover up the face tattoos.
We all wear glasses today to get a job.
We're all looking for new employment
We're looking
opportunities.
for
Yeah,
jobs.
but me, I'm happily employed, so
Yeah.
glasses came off.
It's casual.
P. Wallable asks favorite Redwall book. Okay.
That season content is exclusive to the season. So you'll never see
Funky.
it again after the season over. Weird.
We talking about Destiny?
Yeah.
They have seasonal content?
Yeah.
Hey, is everything good?
It's up. It's up. We're on. I'm on YouTube. They're saying yay.
Is the audio better?
Is the audio fixed? Let me check.
Yes.
What you mean?
Nope. Audio's still off.
This stuff.
Games.
Get better internet, Josh.
Games are dumb.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
great
you
internet.
mean
We need to just
pictures?
probably
So you,
figure
like,
out a way to
meme it
hardline it.
yourself? Oh,
I can do
yeah.
I don't meme things.
What just happened?
This
They
meme.
had the same reaction, but different.
Different endings.
They both went, oh, and he said yuck, and he said
Yeah.
it's really funny.
All right. Well, audio's still kind of funky, but the stream is back. So here we are.
Sorry, guys.
Wait to put in another AOL disk.
Yeah.
We ran out on the first
We ran out of data. 3.5 megs goes in a hurry.
Okay. I didn't know if I was gonna, because I am jumping past some questions, specifically if they're towards a specific individual, just because that's not as engaging. But I will do this one because it's getting emphasized in the chat. And I know we've been asked this before, but if you had enough Patreon support, would you consider producing a second podcast with Reed as a player and Josh as the DM?
Just you two.
How much Patreon support?
Just us
Perfect.
two.
We would have to be
Yes.
getting so much Patreon support
Yes.
to do a second podcast.
We barely have enough time to do one.
Heard that.
I would say no.
Yeah.
That's
We're talking like double digits Patreon support.
no.
right?
We're talking like 5 digits.
That's what I meant. Like double thousand, like 10,000.
$10.
Like one of us is doing this full time, kind of a
I mean,
kind of a
even
deal.
would we even still want to do it if we had like? I don't really feel like the money's the issue. It's
No,
just
no.
time.
It's the money's not the issue. That's why I said no, regardless of
Yeah.
the money. It's purely time.
Yeah,
Like it would have to be
a full time. Like someone would have to be spending.
someone is quitting their job, if
Yeah.
not multiple people quitting their
Yeah.
job to focus on this full time.
So yes, but practically no.
Yeah.
Like there is a number. You know what I mean? Where we
Right.
would reach that
Real
point.
high.
To where we can
Yeah.
both match our current, at least match our current salary, including
Right.
health insurance benefits,
I'm gonna write it on a slip of paper.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And I'm just
slide
show it to the
across
camera.
table.
No one else. Yeah, I mean, like, sure, the number exists. I don't know what that number is though, because right now it's just such a non-reality that it doesn't it doesn't even make sense to come up with that digit.
I mean, we could say $1 million. You know?
Yeah, let's say
Set
$1
a goal.
million. Yeah, $1 million.
Million it is.
You hit $1 million.
I'll enter that into the Patreon. I'll just 1 million second podcast.
Stern but fair.
Yeah. I mean, wait, that'd be $1 million
Monthly.
monthly.
Yeah. We'd need $1 million a month, dog.
I'd say $250,000. $250,000 monthly. I'm being fair.
The
You
bar
being
so
cheap.
low.
You're
I'm
so
being
cheap.
fair.
You're so
I'm being
cheap.
fair. I'm not. I respect you guys too much to set it at $1 million a month. These clowns over here, they're selfish.
I'm not going to my job. Josh needs my help
Not for
there.
no $250,000.
Martin Thomas asks, is there a particular aspect / rule in 5th edition / nuke out of existence?
Dwarves.
The rules of
Yeah.
Gaius. No,
Just kidding.
I'm just saying that because we got so much feedback.
The rules from what?
The rules of Gaius.
Oh, Gaius now. Or the tiny hut, which you used incorrectly.
Yeah, Danny, that's
Did
on
I?
you.
Has a minute casting time just like Gaius.
You should have known that,
Should have
Dan.
known that. That's on
Shoulda
you.
known that.
Everyone
That's
should
on
know
you.
everything about the game.
I would say
I never look at casting.
that Reed is so laid back in how he DMs for us.
What do I
that
care?
I don't have any complaints about the mechanics.
Yep, same.
No,
I think if
dude.
we played things by the book and it was like I
Yeah.
had to
Very
have
legalistic.
ingredients for every
Yeah.
single thing I
Oh
wanted
gosh,
to
if
do,
you needed
God.
materials,
then I would
Spells would
probably
never
scratch
happen.
that. But
Spells would
Yeah.
never happen. I'd be
I-
a lot more gold, like, hungry if
Yeah.
we had to buy materials. all the
oh
time.
man,
I don't know. That's a really good question. There's so much about 5th edition that they improved
Mhm.
that I'm really struggling to think of something that I would wholesale scrap. Yeah, I mean, really, the advantage disadvantage system fixed a lot of like this stupid number crunching from 4th and 3rd edition. So, no, I think as a whole, I give the full stamp of approval to 5th edition. Thanks, Greg Tito.
What a guy.
Alyssa says she would remove knock.
why?
Might be personal.
Oh, the knock sound. She would remove the sound that knock makes.
It's really loud.
Yeah.
So like it's
It'd be super OP then, wouldn't it?
I mean it's already pretty OP because like there are things in D&D that like a spell or one thing can counter like an entire dungeon's worth of planning.
Oh yeah.
So like it's stuff like that, like Dispel Magic is one of those spells that can just completely undo an entire week's worth of planning. If you have like a ward over a door that you're supposed to do some fancy puzzle to get rid of, you just like boop and it's gone. You're just like, well, that kind of sucks. But I think Knock is another one of those spells where it's like, all right, there's super rare items behind this chest or this door. Like, well, okay, I guess. So
Erskine James says, Josh, knowing now that you are a multi-class barbarian, do you regret Eldritch Knight as a beginning class? No. Next question.
Eldritch Knight was for the recall.
What's that?
Eldritch Knight was for the recall.
Yeah, he wanted his hammer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Also, that's what I wanted Greg to be, and no matter what he turned into, that's what I wanted him to start as. Reed, if Josh hadn't gotten black goop on his foot back in the first episode, how did you plan the story to go? Or do you pretty much plan on just one of us getting affected?
No, that was 100% on the spot. That's been so long ago. I honestly don't remember. I still have my notes. From those sessions. I could probably pull them out, but I probably would have gotten you guys. No, I mean, ultimately I got you guys to the statue and to it was in High Rock that ultimately where everything went down. So I got you to the cities I needed you to get to.
That was more like a subplot happening.
Yeah, and so like I ended up. I think what ultimately happened was, I tied some of the Demon Lord stuff that I was working on in with the black goop when I probably didn't intend for that to be. So the fact that like Malamet was able to control Grayek because he was infected by that stuff, like that fight with Malamet probably wouldn't have happened the way it did if it wasn't for the fact that Josh got infected. Being able to play like the voices in his head thing worked out really well.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool element, but it wasn't the focus of the story. The focus was always meeting Sylvana, getting the compass, like learning their destiny,
Mm-hmm.
and then like getting sent onward. Malamet was just like a means to an end that ended up playing really well with the infection.
Cool. Diego asks, if you had to pick a favorite book, what book would you pick and why?
Too hard. That's not true.
And his last name is pronounced Atravesar.
Diego Atravesar. Dan's Spanish name in high school was Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was Culebra, which is cobra. I felt really cool.
Mine was just Oscar. Oscar.
Were you not allowed to have Laszlo?
They wouldn't let me have Laszlo because it was Italian. I just got our geometry teacher to call me Laszlo for no reason. Favorite book?
Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte.
Yes, you have a collection of
I
those.
do have a collection of those.
Anybody else favorite books? Mine's right now. I'm
I
sure it'll
might.
change at some point in the future. My favorite book right now is
I was gonna say.
The Emperor's Blades by Brian Staveley. It's a fairly new fantasy book series, and I learned tweeting at him. I want to say like chatting with my buddy Brian on Twitter. That was his first novel, and it's fantastic. He hadn't wrote because I learned that there are a lot of authors that wrote like a dozen novels before like they had one that was successful, and I'm like blown away that his first novel was such a kick out the gate. It's so freaking good.
I always wonder too in situations like that. You see these like first time movie directors, novelists too, that just like they come out the gate super strong.
Yeah.
Sam Mendes, M. Night Shyamalan, people like that who just like they hit the ground running. You're just like, where the crap did these guys come from?
Yeah.
How are they so good with their first film? And I have to imagine it's part of the whole like they've just been toiling away at it all their life.
That it's not technically their first, but it's like their first like public.
It's the first time they ever tried to release something, but they've spent most of their adult or even earlier than that life just crafting this thing far longer than any publisher would ever give them a reasonable deadline for.
Yeah.
And not to say that Brian Staveley, if you're watching Brian Staveley, I'm sure you're a fine writer.
Sure. He's out of the 14 people watching, he's one of them.
But I'm sure that's like there are people that are just like incredibly talented. But I wonder how much of that, because you do see that from time to time. My favorite book, the Left Behind series, obviously. Obviously.
The kids series or the adult series?
Adult. Oh, come on.
Who's the author of that?
Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins.
Okay, Tim LaHaye wrote another book series.
He did.
Babylon Rising.
Yep. Though they both have written several other
And
book series.
I actually enjoyed that series.
I never read that one.
When I was in high school, middle school, I read it with my dad. And that was kind of like our thing we were doing. We were going through that book together. So that was kind of fun. Looking back, I like it was not fantastic writing.
Yeah.
But
I don't know that I have a favorite book. I don't read a lot of books.
yeah.
I think the last series I read in full was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series.
You read all those books?
I did.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
they are a drudge
Yep.
in 2 to 3. But I wasn't even I like the first one was okay.
What about Dark Tower series? Did you read
Never
that?
finished it.
Okay.
I never finished them. So like I've read most of the Gunslinger. I don't know what I'm waiting for in that. That's fine. Like that, I've heard that that's actually the weakest in the series too.
Hmm.
But
Did anybody not answer the book question?
Danny and Mike,
I don't.
We already
I
know what
don't
Mike's
have a-
answer is.
I don't think I have a favorite.
Dinotopia.
Dinotopia.
You don't have a favorite book?
You read more books than I think. Like you're probably just behind Kelsey and Josh for
I
books.
don't
Right?
know that I have a favorite though.
Okay, rather than saying favorite, what book have you read more than all the other books? Like you've gone back and read it 3-4 times.
I was just thinking about that one this week. The Book Thief.
Oh,
I love that book.
I
That's a great
love
story.
that book.
I never even heard of
Yeah.
that.
Books.
He likes that book because it has all the books.
It's sitting on
Stole them
my-
All
all.
of them.
It's on my dining room table if somebody wants to grab it on their way out.
Okay, here's a question for the players more than anybody.
Good. Take a nap.
There are times you talk about the decisions that and it's from Scott Hill, that we talk about the decisions that our characters make and why they choose to do that. How do you get better at distancing your personality from your character to make those decisions?
Oh. Ooh, yeah.
That one was hard for me because Akio I modeled a lot after myself. So a lot of his decision making is just what I would do in the moment. But I miss playing the Colonel because he was so opposite of me and how I would make decisions. So I miss like having someone I had to come to the table ready to play different.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
One of the things is like being okay with being weak and not playing it like a video game. Not thinking every turn, okay, this is where I need to change the tide of battle, or I need to be the hero. Like maybe even being the weak person or being actually a hindrance to the group, I think for me is like a really awesome thing. Like, yeah, no, I'm scared out of my mind. I'm not going to do anything this turn. And being like okay with that, but not just doing it, just to do it. But I think for me, when I played Sherwood, it was very much like me, and I always wanted to win the battles and be more of the. But I think for me, Milo, it's more of a kid, and he does have weaknesses, and being okay with that, I think, is really cool.
Which is funny because you win more battles with Milo than you did as Sherwood.
Yeah.
For sure,
Because you're so much stronger. Or like,
You also take more damage as Milo.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think for me, and Josh might be able to vouch for me on this one. Obviously, compared to the other characters, Brenna is very reserved and calculated. But comparing Brenna to me, I feel like Brenna says what she wants to say, reacts how she wants to react, and it's maybe more brash. Where I might be very vulnerable with Josh, but in public or with other people, I generally keep my opinions to myself. I don't insert myself into conversations. I don't make myself really super bold. And so I think that's kind of my main difference is Brenna does what I would do if I wasn't reserved as a person. So it's more of like it's kind of like a way for me to get that out without it affecting my real life.
Sure. Greg and I are pretty close.
Yeah, but I think like the disconnect in how Greg would behave in a situation versus how you would behave in a situation are very clear.
Yes.
Yeah. Greg is less considerate than I am. I
Greg
feel like
is your id.
Yes, that's what it is. Greg is like if I didn't care about so many other things, this would be just like how I would act all the time. But it is very, I want to say freeing, but that sounds like way too dramatic.
Right. It makes
So,
it sound
like,
like you want to be a jerk to everyone.
No, but there is something that
cathartic.
it is very cathartic to play Greg, to just like be really bombastic and loud and aggressive in that way. I feel like 90% of the world of people are built to not enjoy conflict. You know what I mean? That's something that we avoid and try not to engage in and don't, get energized by. I do enjoy conflict. Like I like being challenged and I like being confronted and I like that kind of I like living in that tension. So I'm broken that way. So Greg is like my way to like forever be in conflict, like all the time. Like almost every decision he makes either puts him in conflict or is just innately his perspective being in conflict. And so I don't know if that really explains much.
I think too, having a DM who creates a story or situations that allow your players' personalities to shine rather than just like letting the story be driven by combat.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way too. Creating like no-win situations or problems that can't be solved through punching.
Yeah.
I think just naturally brings out elements of their character that hopefully you do that enough times the players are able to make that disconnect happen.
Mm-hmm. What was I going to say? I am going to touch on it real quick because we are getting close to time. I figure we'll go over a little bit since we started a little late and we've had some technical difficulties. But I do know that there was some stuff you wanted to say about the Patreon. Yep. But before that, I got one more question that I think would be a fun question. This is from Martin Thomas again. If there was a sneak attack loot box, what would you put in it? And what would your characters put in it?
Like
like something we would send out. Like people would like buy a loot box. Okay. That's what loot box is,
loot box, loot crates.
Yeah. Like a monthly box that went out with items and stuff. What would we put in it and what would our characters put in it?
McCD.
That would be
if we had the intellectual property.
Yeah.
Akio's section would be like a Blue Apron recipe box for his noodles.
Like a box within the box with like everything you need.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good question. Oh, mine would definitely be beard upkeep tools.
Yes.
Oh, like beard oil?
Yeah, beard oil, combs, the works, like everything you need to like
Dapper Dan.
To really have a good beard, yeah. Yeah, pictures of my beard just to remind them of what they're shooting for.
I would put in just a bunch of notebooks and pencils, not pens.
Would they have anything written on them? The pencils?
Did you say nerd?
Like I have my pencils that say "Adventure Awaits" on.
I got those for you. Thank you very much.
I didn't say that I bought them. I just said I have them.
I just like credit for my cute things.
No, I'd probably get the pencils that say like "Don't do drugs" on them. Yeah. But like the more you sharpen them, it eventually looks like it says "Do drugs."
It's like back.
The don't is at the tip. So as you sharpen it, it just says
the longer you're being a DM, the closer you're getting to
exactly. It's a double meaning. Eventually, it'll say rugs.
That's when you hit the bottom. Yeah. That's the
like,
bedrock.
Right. Yeah, it's probably just a bunch of notebooks. Write down people you meet, places you go. Everything's inspiration.
It's good.
I think Milo would probably send a picture that he made, and Mike would do the same. So,
would you have the Milo picture and the Mike picture?
Yeah,
side by side.
Definitely.
Which one would look better?
Probably Milo's. And then Sherwood. I don't know. He'd probably send nothing. I don't know.
Dude, send that paper we were talking about the printers.
I imagine he'd like do seeds or something.
Yeah. He could do seeds.
Plant a tree.
No, he'd say he would do seeds and then he wouldn't.
No, he would send you the drugs that you could plant and then begin to grow.
There you go.
So by the time your pencil's worn out and you can do them, they've grown.
Pepper seeds for Akio's noodles.
Oh,
there you go.
A little cross branding.
There it all feeds into each other.
What?
Huh?
Not my seed.
Good. All right. Well, there are more questions that have come in, but I don't think we're going to be able to answer all of them.
Let's do like one or two more because we did get started late.
Yeah, let's go till 9.
9 p.m.
Okay.
9 p.m.
I'll be asleep.
I'll go to sleep.
Pacific time.
Ooh, Mike, this is a fast one. All right. We're gonna rapid speed.
Yeah, lightning round.
So we're gonna talk.
If I can find some of the other questions that I skipped through. Reed, how do you feel about Deus Ex Machina resolutions to things like Malamet?
Oh, Deus Ex.
Deus Ex, yeah.
What are you about deucing on it?
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex Machina.
You know you do it.
That's a Craig question.
I know that's a Craig question. You didn't have to tell me that. I'm fine with it. Just don't use it as a crutch.
Happy. Can our NPC characters actually die in Reed's world?
Yes.
Will we ever see Fernando Montenegro de la Noche again?
Yes.
Mike, can you recite all of Milo's dog names off memory?
No.
Danny, what is Akio's opening day menu going to look like for Blazing Noodles?
One dish. And maybe some spicy egg rolls.
Strong.
It's a small bowl, regular bowl.
Fierce.
Both.
Strong.
Size options.
It's a community bowl.
Ooh, those are awesome. They bring people together.
Like a fish bowl?
Yeah.
Have you guys chosen an opening song for Volume 2 yet? That is like an interesting.
Pending.
Yeah, really exciting.
I'm not
saying
pulling
anything.
back the veil on that one yet, but pending. It's Daft
Uh,
Punk. We got them, guys.
Harder, Faster, Stronger, Volume 2. Kelsey, what happened to bagpipes?
You know,
Yeah, what?
got a lot of complaints from the neighbors.
Mm.
I got really focused on that guitar, actually. Guitar.
You have a bag of holding, right?
I don't have it. I don't have the bag of holding.
Brenda doesn't have that?
No.
Oh.
I do.
So you're just lugging around bagpipes then?
Yeah.
Aaron Albus asks, Mike, how happy were you with the first batch of Patreon prints?
Really happy. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Like, just to have them done, you know. I think it'll be fun. You
Awesome.
guys let me know if you like them. And don't let me know if you don't like them. My heart can't. My heart can't.
Don't
take
at
that.
me.
Don't at me.
Those items in the loot box.
Oh, gosh, what
yeah,
would he put in there? Maybe, he put stale biscuit. Yep.
Because the medals are false, so it doesn't.
I
Yeah.
stole
What time zone are you guys in? CST.
Central.
Yep. In America.
Same as Chicago.
Okay, I think that was the lightning round.
Okay.
I think we got through them.
Okay.
So read.
It's officially been an hour
Floor's yours.
since we were supposed to start, so we'll wrap this up this way. So we are going to be making some changes to the Patreon going forward, and you guys are honestly the first to know. We haven't posted about it yet. We are going to make probably a video, just a quick little video.
Or post on our Patreon.
Yeah, I figure I want people to watch it though. Like,
Okay.
I feel like they're more inclined
This
to.
is the video.
This is it. It's meta. Well, I need to record myself making this. So we're making some changes to the Patreon.
That you will like.
I think you guys will like them, and I'll explain what they are and then the reason behind why we made this decision. So first things first, we're getting rid of the $100 tier.
Anyone who's submitted to it and paid for it
they're
in.
locked.
Locked in.
We have 9 or 8.
Yeah.
NPCs already submitted. They will get used 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But starting in November, that tier will disappear. Well, before November, that tier will disappear, and then everyone will roll down to the $35 tier. The $35 tier will be the max, but we are adding a second podcast, kind of.
You're so adamant about not doing a second.
It's not a full show.
It doesn't require the same.
It's more of this kind of stuff.
It's a lot more of this.
Hanging out, except we're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes. So the plan is for myself and Josh and whoever else wants to be involved to just sit around for an hour or so a month, live stream it. It'll be pre-recorded, and then we'll release it via the Patreon, and just talk about like DMing tips, just talking about D&D, what we love about it, things we found useful along the way for playing it for all these years and getting some modicum of success through playing it. So that the $35 tier will be the print and the podcast. We are doing away with the $25 tier, disappearing, but the DM notes reward is moving down to $15.
So you're going to start getting the DM notes. You'll have access.
Everyone who is
the previous ones.
Everyone who is just at this level will get access to the DM notes. At like nothing else will change. You don't have to pay anything additional. It's just that's bumping down, and the $5 tier is remaining the same, and the $1 in between is remaining the same as well. So the reason why, it probably seems crazy to think like, well, we actually saw a fairly reasonable level of success from the $100 tier. Why on earth would we get rid of it? And the answer is really simple. It's because we don't want to have a donation tier that we don't believe we can give tangible results to each month. That's what ultimately drove this entire decision. Is if we do special series like the trials, which was a really unfortunate bit of timing on my part, to where I had the trials all planned out. That was very linear in terms of storytelling. There's no way to introduce new NPCs in that environment. That took 5 weeks, which is a whole month. So as soon as they leave the trials, boom, I've got now 2 months worth of NPCs waiting for me that I don't think I'm probably going to be able to get to in 30 days, unless I just like phone it in, which I don't want to do.
Just shove them in there.
Yeah, I'd be like, and you pass a guy named Jim, and he looks like this. Oh, bye, Jim, and then he's gone. That's super unfair to you guys. And so I really wanted those rewards to feel good, and I hope the episode that just released last Friday, where you met Varn, I hope that felt good, and you'll actually see more from him again. I've already got some feedback that people liked him, not even knowing that he was a write-in NPC, which is
I think
awesome.
we liked him without even knowing. Yeah,
which is really cool. That's exactly what I'm going for. And so to try and put that much care into that reward, up to 5 times a month is just, that's not possible. And so again, that's just not fair to you guys. So we're just doing away with it entirely. We really like the idea of that direct involvement, but it's just not working out in a way that I feel is fair or reasonable for either party. And that also leads into the $35 tier, which was previously just the art print. Again, that is an amazing reward. We are not getting rid of that, even though it's not monthly tangible results. However, that's why we are adding this monthly show that will be, again, pretty free form, a lot like this. Just something that you can have to look forward to every month. And you know that when you're donating, you're expecting something in your inbox or in your hands every month at every tier. And when it comes to the $25 like DM notes tier, that I think just existed because we never gave a really critical look at it. We like the DM notes as a reward, but just especially with the trials, I couldn't really release all my notes on the trials until the trials was finished. And at that point, again, a whole month had passed. I'm thinking, man, like this probably isn't an effective use of that either. So we're adding it into the $15 tier because the $15 tier already has a lot of really cool stuff in it, this thing. And now there's just an additional thing for people to look forward to. $5 tier staying the same. But ultimately, all of this decision came from the fact that we don't like feeling like your guys' money and love and care for this show isn't being valued. And we had to take a hard look and make the difficult decision of really liking these contributions and these interactions we had with you guys, but just thinking about what is best for you guys, what is best in terms of fairness, and just making sure that what you're doing is being represented in a way that is cool and memorable and actually significant. So that was the driving force. That's it. It'll all be changed in the Patreon before November.
And real quick to hit some of the stuff I'm seeing in here, the $35 tier, if you want to get in on the first set of prints, you still can. The final charge will be happening at the beginning of November. So these prints go through November. So and the final charge will be at the beginning of November. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So unless we want to do the final charge the month after, but I don't remember what our plan was. We charged
September, October, November.
Yep, yeah, September, October,
that's
November.
A quarter. So it's November is your last chance.
Yeah.
December, when December rolls around and that's billed, that'll be for a brand new print. So which I'm sure Mike already has done.
So if you want to get on the first print, that'll pretty much be gone.
That's still a limited number, by the way.
November, like you have to get on it pronto.
Yeah.
So
take them all.
We'll have a whole wall with all of the extra prints.
Stocking stuffers.
Yeah. Do you want to show one to the stream?
Yeah. Do we have one up here?
Here, I'll grab mine.
Oh gosh.
I'm proud of it.
Oh, oops, the back.
Don't show them the back.
There you go.
Feel the letterpress.
There you go.
Well, I don't want to shadow it too much. I'm trying to get the light on here so you can see it's raised. It's really
they'll never be able to tell.
They'll never be able to tell. But it's got a really cool texture.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Yeah, put it in front of the candle.
No.
Put it on
Bye, Josh.
You hold it, Greg. There we go.
Oh, that's cute.
So yeah, any questions or any thoughts about the kind of shift in what we're doing with the Patreon? Direct them to me on Twitter or post on it in the Patreon page. We'll be happy to field any questions. And we've thought through this pretty hard, but as always, there might be things we hadn't considered. So we want to hear those questions and feedback if you have them. So where are we at? 4:40.
Yep. I think we're good.
Okay.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us for our second ever live stream.
I apologize for the audio. We'll get that worked out
Yep.
before next month. But appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Once this stream is like all figured out and so much cooler, you guys are all gonna be able to be like, I remember when the audio was off. I remember when, you know.
It'll be a real hipster thing.
Yeah.
Because we know that's what millennials are about, is being hip.
Yeah.
So
I remember when it wasn't virtual reality.
So thank you all.
Okay.
I don't know what that was.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you all. I'm going to have to awkward crab walk over to stop the broadcast again. But we will, of course, see you all in November. We'll post on the Patreon well in advance to let everyone know when it's going to happen. And look forward to seeing you in November.
Love you guys.
And now I got to do this. Don't
There you go.
look at me.